Recording.
Okay.
Hey guys. Hi, I'm Catherine O'Brien at Happy with Baby. And today I'm super excited that my favorite partner in crime, Rick Heyer, my husband, is joining us for a Q&A.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And we're live in the same place. But anyway, so Rick and I have been teaching a workshop together that I developed over 10 years ago. And so we've been teaching it. It was 10 years in October, Relationship Survive Guide to Baby's First Year. And so what do you have to say about that?
It's been my pleasure to be working with you on that. That's what I was supposed to say, right?
Yes. So anyways, so just a little backstory. So I originally had started teaching the workshop with a childbirth educator, and due to her schedule, she wasn't able to teach it, and I was able to rope Rick into teaching it with me. And
Demand.
by demand, right? So I think the unique thing about him teaching it with me is that it has given the perspective from two parents, from both sides, from the mom and the dad, from the birthing partner and the other partner.
Non-birthing partner.
Yes. So tell us, how's it been for you?
How's what been for me?
How's being a dad been? What would you, well, okay, let's start with something fun. So we have two kids, and they are now ages 11 and 7, and they would like to say that they're almost 12 and almost 8. But what is do you have a funny memory or something that they've done over the years?
Well, I have a funny memory of both of them. For our youngest, when she was 3, maybe 2.
I don't know what you're going to say.
When you were with her, so you told us the story.
Oh, okay.
But
yes, now
when you were coming out of the store,
she was 2.5.
Yeah, and some woman said to her, "Oh, what a cute baby," and she said, "I'm not cute. I'm awesome." And that was pretty funny for her. And then for our oldest,
well, and that's kind of her personality.
Yes.
And
then, of course, our oldest is doesn't always think things through before he says something. So
now that he's older, are you gonna embarrass him if he ever sees this?
he knows it's funny. He knew it was funny the moment he said it. When we're driving through Utah and there was that waterfall, and he's like, "Is there water up there?" Yeah, there sure is.
The things kids say, yes. So, okay. So back to that. So, well, let's start with one of the questions that came in, and because I know we have a lot of tips and things that we share with partners when they come to our workshop and doing the intensives with us. And then recently, we just published our book this month.
Your book. I'm just.
Well, I wouldn't be a book without your help. So
that's not true.
It's very true. It's very true. But yeah, so, and we have a lot of tips, but someone had asked if we could give one tip to parents, what would it be?
To new parents?
To new parents, yes.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that come to mind, but the one thing that I think is important probably all the time, but especially this year, is now is not forever. That things will change. Things do get easier in most ways. Sometimes they get a little bit, they change.
Right.
But what is difficult today is not forever. So for new parents that are feeling like, my God, I'm never going to get to sleep again.
Yes.
I'm never going to have a life again. This is a time that goes by like that.
Right.
And especially this year, with as difficult as it is, it's not forever.
Right. No, I think that's so true. And I think it's just and so what would you say when you are so exhausted? I remember those nights where you're just every day just feels like you're never getting enough rest. How do we get through those moments, or the hard of each stage?
Well, I think it's just like I said, you got to remember that it's not
Mhm.
going to last forever, and try to focus and be present on the things that are positive in those times. And I know that's easier said than done, but
Yeah.
it takes some mindfulness
Right.
to actually to put that in your mind in a good moment, that when
Yeah.
I'm in that situation, I am
Yes.
going to keep this thought in mind, or
Yeah.
these two thoughts in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's really true. Like, I remember moments where they were really little and I would be up in the middle of the night holding them, and I'd be so tired and just wanting to go to sleep. And sometimes I would just like, I mean, there were plenty of times where I'm like, I really don't want to be doing this. But then sometimes when I could be in it and I'd be like, I won't be holding them this small forever. Like, this is like such a finite period of time. And so just trying to be like, this will be over. And then I'll be wondering about it at some point and be missing it, which sometimes I do.
Well, I'm wearing the shirt you got me, sweatshirt you got me. And I remember being in boot camp thinking about, and I fortunately had somebody I went through boot camp with that kept it in perspective. This is only a short period of time. There's lots of ridiculousness in it. In parenting, there's lots of good moments in it. There's lots of times where they're constantly growing, right? So what happens today is probably not going to happen tomorrow. So let's enjoy this for what it is. And when they're really little, they're never going to need you like they do in those times.
Right, right. So would you say Marine Bootcamp prepares you for parenthood?
I don't think anyone ever has said that, but except for in the one way of that, what seems when you start boot camp, it's like, oh my God, this is going to last forever, but it's not. It's weeks, a few months.
Right. Well, and I think, and looking back, it's like, oh, it wasn't that bad, right?
In a weird way, boot camp, people actually miss it.
Really? Yeah. What do they miss about it?
Well, it's Stockholm syndrome, right? Like
Stockholm syndrome. Okay. That's funny. Well, what do you think best prepares people for parenthood?
Well, I think certainly there are people that have been the older sibling and had to take care of younger siblings. Like, or situations like that where they've been forced into caretaker babysitting roles early on. Yeah. I think that's probably good for preparation.
But then I think the thing to always remember is, because I've had people that were like, oh, well, I was a nanny or something, and why is this so hard? Or like, I'm a nurse and I take care of new babies, and why is this so hard for me? I'm like, because it's different too, right? Because you don't get a break at the end of the day. Like, you don't go home and you can't,
Well, and I think there's probably the difference for being a nanny to being a parent is that, for lack of a better word, the involvement, the connection is different.
Right.
And the expectations of what you're supposed to do and what the baby and or child, what you expect of them is different.
Well, and I think the thing too to remember is that you're constantly making all these new decisions. There's all these new things that you're learning about your child and about yourselves and about with your partner and stuff. So I think that's an important also, is like, you're constantly making new decisions. You're having to learn new things. And like I said, our kids are older now, and it's still like new things we're always learning about them. And I would say that having a baby's maybe like boot camp, right? Because you're so tired. It tears you down in that regard. It breaks you in the fatigue and just like the newness of it. And then it gets easier in some ways, but I think there's always like challenges with parenthood, with like, how you want to parent, and then having that negotiation with your partner. What would you say is a good way, like, so this, like having hard conversations, like what would you recommend?
Who am I having this hard conversation
with me? Or, like if you're...
Well, I'd like to do it on camera, preferably live.
Let's pick a hard conversation to work through on. No, like say like say if we don't agree, because there's times we don't agree on things.
Rarely.
There's occasionally we don't agree on certain topics or certain situations, or if we're dealing with like in-laws, family members, or something like that. Like what do you think works best as a couple?
To have that conversation as a couple?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think you just got to have it, right? You got to be honest. And I mean, you don't want to be name calling, all that stuff.
Right.
We've never done that. And that's one of
them. Well, maybe in my head. Not out loud though.
But I think you have to have the conversation. Yeah. You can't avoid the conversation.
Yeah.
That the avoiding the conversation or sugarcoating it or minimizing it is where things fester.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that we have done well is have those conversations.
Mm-hmm. Right. And even if it's not, it doesn't get like hard conversations aren't like one and done and that's it. It's like you have to keep talking about them and
ad nauseam.
And like negotiating like different the different situations and stuff. Yeah. I was just thinking of the story that you told about our oldest and the waterfall, and I'm remembering when we did like that interview and I said something really silly like that too, where I was like
I don't remember what you said.
So I'm like, so yeah, what I said, like I was like, oh, 1/3% or something, like I don't know what it was, but it was like really, it was silly. So yeah.
But he did just tell us last night or yesterday that he is your son. Probably the good and the mostly good. Mostly good.
Oh, thank you. Well, okay. So what do you think keeps a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship especially during parenting, right? Because we have limited time.
Well, I think the thing that helped us get through it, and hopefully the thing that
is teaching other people how to do it.
Right. It's pretending we're expert. Is and what I was going to say is hopefully gets the people that take our course and read your book, our book.
Yeah.
Through the newness of being, a parent for the first time, is recognizing that things have changed, right? That it's not walking into it thinking and expecting everything to be the same as it was, the day before the birth or 2 months ago. Yeah. Things change because they have to, because now you're responsible for this little person.
Right.
And you're doing that as a team. So I think recognizing and accepting that change is probably fundamental to making it through that as a strong couple.
Right. And I think, and one of the things we do like in our workshop is we talk about what are the issues, or what are things that each partner is most concerned about in regards to having a baby.
Yeah. Like what are their concerns?
Common, and there are some common transition issues. So it's like being able to talk about those, and sometimes they're the same, right? Each partner has similar concerns, and sometimes they're different, right? But it's making sure that you're talking about those, so each person knows where you're coming from, right?
Where the other's coming from.
Where the other person's coming from. Yes. Thank you.
That's what I'm here
for. Okay, so here's a common issue that I hear a lot, and I know we've heard a lot in our workshops. About and we'll just say mom and dad, because typically that's how it goes.
At least in our workshops.
So mom will say to me, say she's home, or she gets home first from work or whatever. Right now, most people are home. And I'm doing things, and then my partner comes in and they start doing something other than what needs to be done. Like maybe they go out into the garage and they're doing some project out there, or they're out doing yard work, or they're doing something other than what they need them to do. Like it's clear that there's dishes to be done.
Let me just, you as the person in this scenario,
sure,
that have been home and waiting for me
to be done with what work you have,
whatever nonsense I've been doing.
Yes.
You've been waiting for me to come home. I come home.
Yes.
And I don't do the thing that you think I should be doing in your head.
Well, that it's obvious that if you look at the scenario.
Yeah, obvious to you.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's the dilemma, right? Is that like I'll have in my head what I need to have happen. And so this is a dilemma I've heard people share is that they're like, I don't always want to have to tell you like what needs to be done. Can you just see? Or like the fact that you did it yesterday, can you just know that? Because I don't want to be nagging you. It gets hard to always ask. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think other people would agree. So it's hard to always ask for everything. I think so. What do you suggest?
There's a couple of things, and there's a couple of things.
The partner not doing the right thing.
The partner had, which in this story is me.
Yes.
If I come home or whomever has come home and they are supposed to just know what needs to be done because it's obvious.
Yeah.
Then I think that partner needs to be told, hey, or there needs to be a conversation. Hey, I've had a hard day here at home. Mm-hmm. I really need you to take the baby, or I need you to please put these clothes away because they're driving me crazy. Can you help it? Mm-hmm. And obviously there should be some communication going back and forth, ideally before the person walks in the door, about what the struggles have been through the day, right? So they're not hit with it the moment they walk in.
Right.
But as your explanation of this scenario has gone on, I'm even more at fault because I should know because I didn't do it the day before, or I was told about it the day before. So the person coming in should also recognize that, hey, there are certain things that go on every day that I need to do. But nobody is a mind reader. So,
right.
I mean, yes, I understand not wanting to nag.
Yeah.
But if either partner doesn't know what the other one's thinking, how can they be responsible for what isn't happening?
Right. And so I think that's why it's so important that we're having regular check-ins and communication. We can talk about that in a second here, but I want to bring up a point, and I know this is something we talk a lot about also, is that if I'm not telling you what I need or what I need help with, or, how I want us to work together as a team, then I'm also going to probably be building up like resentment.
Right. And one of the things that I think at least when we were brand new parents, is there were times where I wasn't given that information about what you needed.
Yes.
But also
sometimes I think I didn't know what I needed.
Right.
Yes.
And I need to be in a place and I needed to be in a place where sometimes I just need to ask, what is it that you need? Yeah. And try to anticipate it a little bit that, hey, you know what? Maybe it's just time to take the baby. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just time to give you a moment to, and it's whomever has been home, right?
Right.
Whoever has been the primary caregiver for a period of time.
Yeah.
If you can give that person a break, that's huge.
Right. Right. Because it's exhausting, even if, the baby's been sleeping and stuff like that, like always to be on, like you're always on and on alert, But I wanted to go back to like how I talk a lot about this in sessions and stuff, but like how do we have regular check-ins with each other? How do we make sure that we're communicating about what needs to happen and how we're going to work together when, we're both busy working and the kids have their things, and like currently for us, both our kids are distance learning in different grades and their schedules are all wonky, and let's hope that our oldest got our youngest on for her class here at 12:20.
It's like the day before Christmas break.
I think it's PE too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Our favorite gym teacher. Well, certainly there's no shortage of ways to communicate nowadays, right? And it's just a matter of using those mediums the right way.
Yes.
I mean, I think that there's a text, an email, hey, could you stop by the store?
Yeah.
That's a great way to use those mediums. But I do think, and regardless of the medium, I think it's very important to do check-ins, right? To the extent possible. But when and we found this, right? Things get lost and tones get implied in the text messages that maybe aren't there, or should be there, that may get missed.
Yes.
So when something's been really hard, or something really needs to get done that's outside of the typical day,
right?
I think that's got to be a phone call, or even if you're just leaving a message. Yeah.
Well, and I even think like if you schedule like regular, hey, once a week, let's look at the schedule. Let's see what's going on. Is there, do I have a late meeting that I'm going to have to be on, or do I have to, be on a call early in the morning that I don't normally do, so that the other person knows and you guys can make a game plan and figure out like if you need the extra help and delegating things, or how you need to rearrange things so it's not like unexpected. And now granted, we all know unexpected things pop up all the time too, but then that's easier to say than like, oh, my whole day is completely opposite and I hadn't let you know about that, you know. So it's just being able to communicate that. I want to check to make sure, because I can't see if people are asking questions, so let me see here. Do you have any questions?
How are you?
I'm good. All right. I don't see any questions right now. So, yeah. So what's like another tip? Like what other things do you feel like is helpful, like that you wish you would have known prior to becoming a parent?
Well, I think one of the things that we talk about in the course, what do we call that?
The workshop?
The workshop, yes. That we put on and that you talk about in the book is the idea of don't keep score.
Yeah.
And I think we talk about that in the context of being new parents, but I think it goes on forever.
Right.
Right? Like there will always be times where one partner in a relationship feels like they're doing more than the other, but things typically balance out. But the idea of keeping score, like having a running tally of who did what, and typically when it was me doing that, when I was keeping score, of course I was in the lead.
Keeping score?
Well, I learned how toxic it was, right? Like that was probably our biggest fight ever, is that we both were super tired.
Yes. And I totally remember having it at like 3 a.m. or something.
Right. And I knew.
Not a good time to have conversations like that.
Well, but we needed to have it because I had been getting up every night forever. No, not true. But I felt.
But it felt like it, right?
Right.
Well, and I think it's hard to keep score because I don't like.
Well, it's not hard to keep score. No, it's easy to do it, but it's hard.
I mean, it's you're never going to be able to keep score accurately.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Because how do you even score things? Like that's my question always. Like, how do you score it? Because
what
it's
I
like,
do is
if I change a diaper
to your 5, and that's the way I was scoring it. So if I did the dishes, 10. If you fed the baby, 5.
Whatever. But if it was like a poopy diaper versus like a wet diaper,
the diapers I had to change were always
a 10.
A 10.
No, I think that's really
but
that's good.
When we had that first conversation at whatever time it was, 3 a.m, and then came back to it, learning that we both felt that way. And that's when we both really talked about and I hope have conveyed to other people the idea that you got to stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you find yourself doing that, stop.
Right.
And that's the biggest gift you can give to yourself and to your relationship, is to let go of that. Because it first of all, it's not accurate, like you said. And second of all, it serves no purpose other than to piss people off.
Right. And I think it just helped it helped us to start having conversations, because we kind of were just doing, like, I think before having kids, we took for granted how easy it was to have conversations and spend time together and do all those things. And then the baby came in, we didn't really have a plan or a situation of how we were going to still.
Well, I think that's like most people, right?
Spend quality time together.
Most couples, they come together, unless they are working together or work in the same place, you know, they have a separate life.
Right.
And that they, you know, they come together at the end of their work day, and maybe they've eaten out separately, maybe they haven't, you know, and they send it to, but it's very easy to go about their life, because there's not that coordination that's necessary. But when you have the kid, that first baby, those kind of couples, and we were one of them, now that lack of coordination that was okay doesn't work anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Well, I like to keep these, I feel like I've heard that before. Well, I like to keep these short, around 30 minutes, just so bite size for parents. So we're coming up on the 30-minute mark. But if you could leave, first of all, I'm so glad that you could be here with me today.
It's been my pleasure.
Haven't seen you in a while.
I know. It's been a long
time. A
time.
lot of quality time lately. Anyways, what would you say? Like, what would be any other thing that you would want to leave parents with that we didn't talk about today?
Team, right? It's the holidays. It's going to be weird holidays, but it's still the holidays. There's going to be people that want things, family members, friends, kids that, you know, now our kids are older, they want to do different things, and we got to be on the same page. And how we deal with them. And the way we get on the same page is we have the conversation as much as we can, like, what are we going to do on Christmas Day? What are we going to do over, you know, the course of the holidays? And so that we know what we want to say to when those outside forces come in and want us to do different things, that we can be united. And to the extent we get hit with a question separately that we didn't anticipate, just straight up say, you know what, I don't know. I got to talk to Catherine about that. Yeah, that's good. No, thanks. I like that. Thanks again. Teamwork, baby. It makes the dream work. Well, I'm so glad, again, like I said, that you could be here with me and share. And if anyone wants to check out, our book is live on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And ask for it at your retailer. Yes. All right. Well, thanks again. And if you guys haven't already, you can join us every month. We'll have another Facebook Live in the Happy with Baby community, and with lots of different experts and stuff. And if you know of an expert that might be, that has something that's helpful to new parents, I'd love to have a conversation with them. So until next time, you guys, take care.